Welcome to Lost Without Japan, a travel podcast about the life-changing experiences of exploring Japan and those moments we would be lost without. For your listening pleasure, allow me to introduce your very own Kanko Guido, Michael.
Welcome to a special Lost Without Moments bonus interview episode of the Lost Without Japan podcast. Our bi-weekly podcast is focused on getting you to Japan for your first visit or to make your next adventure to Japan even better than your last. Today's special interview episode is with Toto, the chef of Megijima Guest Houses and Cafe Megino. This is your director of travel for TKIC Studio Productions, coming to you with positive thoughts and excitement for your next journey to Japan in his own return before the end of 2024. I'd like to thank you all for giving me a bit of your time today, and I truly hope that this podcast finds you in a good place or on the path to a better one, no matter how it may seem at this moment. My belief is that we could all use a beacon like this in our lives to help guide us during these times, and my hope is that Japan, along with this show, will become that for you. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you're returning Lost Without listener, thank you again for your time and returning once more. For today's show, let me introduce a special guest and chef of Megijima Guest House and Cafe Megino. I must say, Toto, that it's amazing how doing some research for my podcast on Megijima Island can really change, like what I would be looking to do or even share with my audience for a visit. When I stumbled across your unique offerings of Megijima Guest House and Cafe Megino, they really have so much to offer visitors to this great destination within Japan. And having my own plan to move to Japan a bit later in life and wanting to enjoy Japan in as many unique ways as possible before I'm constantly looking out, as a result for resources to provide the listeners of my show and myself with some truly memorable experiences. As a result, I truly feel fortunate to have Toto join us today. Welcome, Toto.
Hello, Mike, and thanks for having me on the show. My name is Toto. I'm 43 years old from Germany, from the German Democratic Republic to be exact, and I'm living in Japan for 4 years now.
You're making me jealous, my friend. I'm very glad that we get to talk to you today. I feel that you offer kind of a unique story, even without having having not even heard it yet. I really do think that you have that, and I appreciate you so much for making time today to set aside some time for listeners of the show. And before we get going too far into our episode today, where can listeners go to take advantage of all the services offered or to answer any additional questions they may have when they look to enjoy Megajima Island?
Yeah, you will find us on Facebook and Instagram, and we also have our own website that you can follow and share and subscribe.
Excellent. I will make sure to include all of that in our notes for today.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Anytime, especially with you setting aside time. So, Toto, our first part that we're going to go in today is really just a place for you to share anything you'd like to about any part of your life that you'd like to. So I'll open it up to you.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, we're facing a new situation. This will be our first main season with a new member of a Megino guest house and cafe, which is our daughter born last year. So we have probably a different service than before. And also, I am working in another job since last year. So there will be times when the chef is not available and the meals will be maybe a little different from they used to be. But we're doing our best to keep operating as good as possible.
I like it. I know we were talking a little bit beforehand that you are not only from Germany, but from East Germany as well. And I saw that there was actually a documentary for you as well on YouTube. Is that correct?
That is correct. That will be coming out maybe in another 1 or 2 months. That was recorded last week.
Outstanding. I said when we get that, I will look to try to include that link as well. I know that I'll be ready to watch as well.
Yeah,
So,
it is in German though, but it's great to see the place where we are living and where we are working. So that's a good addition to the podcast where you just have the voice.
all I have is Sprechen Sie nicht gut Deutsch. That's about as far as I could get into the German with you, Toto. So,
Great.
uh, how did you find yourself to end up being chef based within Japan?
Okay, yeah. So first of all, I was not a chef in Germany. Cooking was just a hobby for me. And how do I end up in Japan? Well, I was traveling as a tourist. 2016 was the first time I traveled Japan. I've been to a few places, also include Kochi, the south side, the Pacific coast of Shikoku. And yes, since that time, I was coming to Japan back and forth like at least once a year. In 2017, since I liked Kochi so much, I really had desire to explore all of Shikoku. So I returned to Shikoku in 2017 to do the Henro, which is a pilgrimage of 88 temples around the island of Shikoku. And I wanted to do it by bicycle because I like the pace of cycling more than walking. I was looking for a bicycle that could support me on the way, do the job, but not too expensive. So I bought a mamachari, which is I don't know, you say pigeon bike?
Yeah, the
Like a
basket.
basket in the
Yes.
front, basket in the back,
Yes, yes, yes.
you know, not too fancy, but gets you from A to B. And in the store, there was a lady, and she did all the paperwork for me, register it uh, in the police register. And while she was doing that, her phone was ringing. She looked at me and she said, "It's for you."
You're like,
And
okay.
there was a kind of bizarre situation. But I'm coming from the service industry, so I answered, "Hello, how can I help you?"
Yes.
And the person on the other end is her husband, and he's American, and he
Okay.
said, "Hey, I'm Norman, and I just want to say I know Shikoku very well. If you have any trouble on the way, just contact me, and I will try to help you. And also, when you finish your trip, maybe you want to sell your bicycle." I said, "Oh yeah, good." So I kept in touch with him, and after I finished my pilgrimage, I met him in person, and he invited me to stay at their house. So I met the wife again, and they took me in, like really took me in. And yeah, from that experience resulted a great friendship. And I was keep visiting like once a year, and they
Yep.
also visited me in Germany. And yeah, we grew like into a family affair, more or less. And yeah, that guy Norman, he he was talking to me like, okay, fast forward like 3 years later, he was talking to me. He knew I already had quit my job in Germany, and my plan was to go on a long travel to different countries, also different continents. My best friend lives in Australia, maybe I was thinking about doing the Henro one more time. My idea was traveling for at least 6 months. So Norman said, Toto, that's a great plan. So in February 2020, I will be going to a wedding in America. So would you be interested to come here to Japan, watch the dogs and take care of the house while we are gone? I say, yeah, no problem. I will do that. So in February 2020, I entered Japan again. At that time, I already gave up my apartment in Germany, like I was living the nomad life at that point.
Yes.
Sold all my stuff, and just came with my backpack. And I did the house sitter for 2 weeks. And in March 2020, that family returned. And I told them, look, they have a little daughter, I told the daughter, like, look, tomorrow is no school. She was like, hey, what do you mean no school? I say, yeah, it's Corona now. Schools are closed, and maybe sooner or later everything will be closed. And I found myself stuck in Japan in a worldwide pandemic. And yet I had to choose, like, okay, I either leave Japan as soon as possible, get back to my home country before, like, all airlines will give up their business, or I will stay in Japan as long as possible and get something going. And that's what I chose. And traveling was difficult at that time.
Yeah.
But I just grabbed the bicycle and I did like day trips around the Takamatsu area. And one day I get to the island of Megijima, and I saw that beach cafe, and I saw the sign, oh, they have pizza, yeah, why not sit down, have a pizza? And the manager was talking to me in English, and she was asking, oh, what are you doing in Japan now? It's a difficult time. I say, yeah, I live in Ajicho, which can be seen from that cafe, like across the ocean on the next peninsula.
Yeah.
So I say, I live over there at a friend's house, and I'm already in Japan for like 1.5 months. And she asked me to support her if I'm interested. I say, what kind of support? That, yeah, the owner of the cafe and guest house decided to close the business, also because of Corona. But since they kept paying her salary, her idea is to make a garden behind the cafe. And she said, I cannot pay you any money, but you seem like a nice guy. You can stay in the guest house for free and you get food, and you can help me do some DIY, and let's make a garden. And the reason why she think I'm a nice guy, because when we talked for the first time, we were also coming across the topic of the Ohenro, the pilgrimage around Shikoku. And she said, oh, that was a great experience. I also did that a few years ago. So we have something in common. You can keep on talking for days and days. So when she offered me that voluntary job, I thought,
Why not?
yeah, it sounds like a jackpot,
Yes.
It's a worldwide pandemic. You stay on a small island, have no interaction with other people, and you can check her out more further and get to know her better. So I told Norman, I grabbed a little rucksack and I told Norman, look, I will be going like for a week or two, helping that lady. And end of the story is I never returned. 1 week we were together, and after another month, I proposed her because I was sure this is what I was looking for all my life.
Mhm.
She's the right partner, and I wanted to be with her. So while the worldwide pandemic was going on, I extended my tourist visa 2 times because the airlines were not operating anymore at that point.
Mhm.
And during those 9 months, we in the background, we keep doing all the paperwork and getting all the documents together that were needed to get married in Japan, a foreigner and a Japanese citizen. So on my 40th birthday, we got married, and the next year we bought a house and we kept renovating for 3 years. And yeah, last year we became parents. So it's a very compact 4 years I'm staying in Japan now, where basically, yeah, everything I was dreaming of had became reality. So I ended up as a chef in Japan.
Toto, that's amazing, my friend. Like, talk about being in the right place at the right time, and
Yeah,
having it be when it's supposed to be. But I don't know what the odds are of all of that coming together, but pretty sure winning the lotto is going to be easier than what you pull up. But in a way, you've won the lotto in life, my friend. So that is
yes,
just amazing, amazing, amazing. So, man,
yes,
so many places to go, so many amazing things you did. And I agree with you. If I could have had that opportunity of, yeah, be on an island somewhere and to be in Japan while you're going through, because my son and I, we were supposed to do our trip right as everything shut down. We were looking to go for that first time. So our trips have been, pushed back again and again and again. But you were coming to Japan prior to all of that and you were looking to travel the world. What ended up first attracting you to Japan to make that, trip from Germany here?
my first contact with Japan, that was in East Germany, still when I was elementary school. My brother, we were doing judo, and I remember our coach. He teaching us the techniques and how to fall and how to pull someone. But he also spent always spent time on teaching about cultural aspects as well, like taking a bow and watch your opponent in the eye when you bow. And that was my first ever contact with Japan. Yeah, later on, I came across, yeah, I would say pop culture is my biggest influence, I've seen a movie, and in that movie, there was a book. So I get that book, and from that book, you will find out other things, and then you see another movie, and oh, this movie is based on a manga. So you get the manga, and like every time I opened a door, I was like, more and more interested to open a window or two.
Yes.
And yeah, movies, music, anime, manga, those kind of things. Books also, I really love to read. Akutagawa and so on. Yeah, that was something that kept my interest growing till the point where I wanted to see Japan with my own eyes.
Perfect, my friend. What still excites you the most about living in Japan?
In Germany, I worked in an office job for almost 20 years in the same company. And in Japan, I work with something that is, yeah, a real passion for me. I work something I really enjoy. And also, I don't work the standard life of most Japanese people. They also working in an office and from 9 to 5. And yeah, where I'm working now, I'm responsible for myself, but I don't have a boss telling me like, "Oh, you're late 10 minutes," or "Why you did not do this, why you did not do that." So I know what is necessary to do a good job, and I'm operating that in my own response. And I'm very serious about work in general.
We were talking a little beforehand too. You said like, "What do I want to do after I move to Japan?" And it's still very open. You have some inspiration, my friend. You know, ending up where you did, to where, like I said, I'd love to do something different than what I have, even if it's just being a guide, just something that can give you a little more freedom, or just allow you to be more impactful for others, and for yourself to get more out of what you're doing. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
w- what are some of your favorite foods or places that you love to visit?
In general or in Japan?
Um, you could say we could cover both, my friend. I'd
Okay.
love to hear both. So,
So yeah, in Japan, the Setouchi area where we are living, like the inland ocean, that is a great place, and especially the west side, Hiroshima Prefecture to Ehime Prefecture, which is connected through the Shimanami Kaido. That is a highway that runs through several islands, and you can cycle it, like separate from the main traffic. You have cycling roads, and that's just a really amazing place if you are into cycling, of course. And also, yeah, when I did the Shikoku pilgrimage, I've came around Koku in a circle, so I've seen all four prefectures and a lot of places. Of course, not everything, but I can tell you, Shikoku has a special mystic atmosphere, in my opinion. And from most of the places, you can see mountains as well as ocean at the same time. And that's just a great place. Also, the Japanese countryside in Shikoku, in some places, really looks like, um, I don't know, 100 years ago, or like you've seen it in the samurai flicks. Those places are really exist in Shikoku until this day. Yeah, that is a great place, I think.
what led you to look to do that pilgrimage, my friend? I know this isn't on our list of questions, but I have to ask.
On my first ever Japan trip, I spent 2 days, 3 nights in Kochi City, and it was October. It was great weather, sunny, not too cold. And the hotel I was staying in, the manager said, "Oh, if you want to go somewhere, you can just grab a bicycle there outside the door and it's free." So that's what I did. And a long time ago in German television, I've seen a documentary called Japan Land
Okay.
from Karen Muller, I think, an American lady. And she did some interesting activities in Japan. Also, this pilgrimage, among some other stuff. So I knew these places exist in Shikoku. So when the manager said, "Oh, you just grab a bicycle," then I grabbed the bicycle, and then I thought, so where should I go? Oh, I should maybe visit one of those temples that are on the Shikoku pilgrimage. And yeah, after the first one, I visit the second one, and then another one, and then I thought, oh, maybe I can get here as well tomorrow. And yeah, that was just a blessed time, cycling through the late autumn weather where it's still warm, and coming around and seeing places. The 88 places are also important, but I think what is between, what takes you from one point to the next point, that is as much as important. And so I had no religious reason to do that pilgrimage. I really just wanted to explore Shikoku, all four prefectures. And so, yeah, 1 year after that experience, I was starting my Henro, and some magnetic power pulling me back to Shikoku, I think.
When you look to stay somewhere for the first time, if you haven't been before, it's great if you can talk to someone before you go that's actually there. And you are the person I think to ask the next question, which is, what is a travel hack for someone that is coming to visit your island to get the most out of it on their trip?
Yeah, if you come to our island, I rather recommend to fully enjoy it in the best way. Don't come in the main season. Don't come during the art festival. Don't come during Sakura. Don't come in the Golden Week or the Silver Week. Don't come during Obon. Early spring or let's say end of October or November, there's still good weather, even good enough to take a swim in the ocean, but it's not as crowded. And yeah, that's what I would recommend to everyone who wants to really enjoy. There is some places around the island. Of course, we are famous for the folktale of Momotaro. So there is a cave on top of one of the hills. It's a little bit cheesy, but it's okay when you are here anyway. Take a look. But what is really great and better than the cave, I think, is the lookout on top of that cave. So you can take a little walk around, and they have a lookout where you have a 360-degree island view, and you can see the Setohashi far away if the weather is nice. You see Shodoshima and Teshima. Yeah, it's fantastic. That is, I think, the main spot here on the island. Don't miss it.
What advice could you give to someone who has dreams of going to Japan, much like you did, to be a chef, whatever it is? What would you tell someone that's looking to kind of follow in your footsteps?
If you're really passionate about something that you enjoy, that can create a job opportunity, not just in Japan, I think everywhere you go. If you can do something really good and also enjoy it, I think that is connected. If you enjoy it, you can, become better and better doing the same thing over and over. And yeah, at one point, just try it. When I left Germany, I wanted to travel for 6 months, but I always had like in mind something good might happen during those travels, and yeah, that can happen to all of us, I think. But most importantly, you have to go.
Yes.
If you stay at home, it's most likely not going to find you the good thing.
Could not agree more, my friend. Could not agree more. What attracted you to cooking then, my friend?
When I moved out my parents' home, yeah, first own apartment, then you find out, okay, cannot buy food on the
Yes, yes.
on the restaurant every day. So yeah, you start with some easy things, fried egg, some noodles, you know. And I like reading, literature, and I find out on the noodle pack, oh, there is a recipe for the sauce. Okay, I will try that. Some fancy stuff I never heard before. My curiosity got triggered. So I was going to the supermarket looking for those ingredients, and yeah, kept going, try and error, and yeah, also whenever I travel to, like, let's say Australia has a lot of food from Asian countries, like Korean food, Japanese food, whatever you call it, Thai, and so on and so on. Whenever I eat something interesting or during my travel, coming back home, I try to recreate it, looking on the internet, how this is supposed to be prepared. And yeah, I think my curiosity got me there. The same thing with the bread, In Germany, we don't do bread because there is so many bakeries. You just go to the bakery and you buy your bread. But in Japan, when I noticed, oh, I will stay here a long time. Everyday shokupan. Shokupan is not a bad thing, The white sweet bread is not a bad thing. But every day,
Yeah.
where is my soul food bread that
Yes.
I, used to eat in Germany? Yeah, well, just get a bag of rye flour and start experiencing some things, See your YouTube tutorials,
Hmm.
make some sourdough, and try and error. A lot of fails. Making bread, making dough is connected to humidity, temperatures, water temperatures, a lot of things. After 2 years, I mastered my bread. That is soul food for me as well as suitable for Japanese people. So not too dark, not too strong in taste.
Yes.
So I managed to do that. And yeah, just the curiosity got me there, I think, as well.
What excites you the most about being able to work for your guest house and the cafe?
My wife and me, we agreed. The main season is really tough, very long days, 15 hours sometimes, over and over, 6 days a week. And my wife and me, we agreed running a guest house sometimes feels like traveling. We're not going anywhere, but
Yes.
we get to meet new people like every day, interesting people from all over the world, and they have stories to tell as well. Someone took part in the Olympics, and someone worked for the embassy, and someone said, "Oh, I work for the United Nations, but now I quit and I have no home. I'm just living in guest house all over the world." Also, interesting life design, right?
Hmm.
So you come across a lot of interesting people with their stories and can make new friends even, you know?
It's
Yeah.
that's great. What other hobbies do you have outside of your cooking?
Yeah, I used to play guitar. Now I really miss the time, but all kind of music I like. Um, I like sports, cycling, and also watching the NFL. I like reading still. Books are a great part of my life. Movies, and I think that's it. Adventures in general, you know. Reading a book can be an adventure as well.
It is. There's a lot of fantasy books that give me that same type of adventure. Those are the ones I enjoy the most. And one thing that people may not know is that I never knew. With all of your football playing time yourself too, not soccer, but football, that was a thing in Germany. Uh, so it's pretty
Yeah,
interesting when I like to read about. How did you get to football as a possibility? I have to ask, being from Chicago with the Bears and our team, like for for you to get to play that.
that's a good question. That's a good question. You know, I'm coming from the German Democratic Republic. You know, the Americans were our enemies, or the West basically
Yeah.
were our enemies, and still in East Germany, you sometimes see things that just attract you. For example, when I was a kid, I saw a photo of Mount Fuji, and then someone told me, "Oh, that is in Japan." And I think my dad or my mom had a sweater or jacket, and on the inside, the label had I don't know, a guy wearing a helmet and throwing a ball, and I thought like, huh? What is that? That looks interesting. So a few years later, we were living in West Germany that time. Um, I saw that on television, and it's just out of curiosity because at first I don't know what's going on there, but I keep watching it to understand. And it took me a whole season. Finally, I understand the rules. And at that time, I was maybe 12 or 13, you know. So it was just like, yeah, something. Maybe the access was not easy, and that was triggering my interest. You know, I want to understand what's going on. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Yeah, and many years later, football got big in Germany. Like, let's say around 10 years ago, it started like to grow. They were
Okay.
showing it on television again. So I was too old like to play tackle football at that time. Still, I got to the flag football team, and could at least for 2 or 3 seasons, I could enjoy that dream as well, playing football without being hurt seriously.
Yes, yes, an important part to the whole thing. So,
Yeah,
uh, so many things have happened. Where, with all your time in Japan to this point, what are your go-to locations that you visit when you're not working where you are at the moment?
yeah. Um, I work with another company doing cycling tours, so I visit the Shikoku and the Shimanami Kaido, and then again I visit the northern Kanto area where my parents-in-law are living, and yeah, basically the Seto Uchi area is the place I want to be and I want to visit because here's a lot of islands that you can explore from the east, Awajishima, to the west, Miyajima, close to Hiroshima. And in between, there's so much things to see and explore. So this, from our location here, this can be easily done in day trips, and that's what my wife and me also keep doing until today.
That is awesome, and that's a great add-on as well, and all the more reason to stay with you longer than the one night that some people might. So I agree that
Yeah.
it's a great reasoning. And one of my to do wanna dos is to do exactly just that, to do some bicycle touring. So um, when did you realize Japan was a place that you wanted to live? Was it meeting your wife? Was it, that experience on the the island? What was it for you?
It really was during the pilgrimage. So pilgrimage time was my third time in Japan, and I did not speak Japanese any more than hello and thank you and goodbye. Just some really basic, polite stuff. Yeah. However, being homeless on Shikoku, of course, I stayed in some dormitory, some business hotel, and here and there. However, there were some days, or should I say nights, where I just slept in a sleeping bag on the beach or at some roadside station. And I always encountered people that were asking, like, oh, you do the Henro, you do the pilgrimage? I say yes. And they give you some, I don't know, hot coffee or some, I don't know, little snacks just for free. Oh, yeah, please do your best and good luck. And so it's a very warm-hearted culture in Shikoku. I'm sure in other places of Japan as well. And what I really love about Japan is people are not ruthless. People care about each other, and that is very different from Germany, for example. So during that time, I thought, oh yeah, Japan is beautiful and the people are nice. I could absolutely imagine living here one day. But at that time, you can imagine, Mike, at that time I thought, but how can speak the language and
Yes.
how that's just daydreaming. But from my heart was telling me at that time, yeah, that is absolutely something I can imagine to live here one day.
How long did it take you to do the Henro?
That took me 42 days on a bicycle. I have to admit that's really slow. Yeah, I encountered two typhoons during that time. I also, yeah, let's say at some places that I like, I I did not see the urgency like to, move on, move on. It
Yes.
was not a race for me. Maybe inside I wanted it to like stretch it a little less longer. Like when you finish, then it's over. So, for example, in Kochi City, I thought I should stay like 2 or 3 days, but it turns out to be 5 days then. And when you're sleeping like outside 3 nights in a row, then maybe the next accommodation will be a nice onsen hotel, something more upgrade, keep the balance.
Yes.
And then you also don't want to rush it immediately. Then you think, oh, maybe another night here does not hurt anyone.
Love it. Love it, my friend. What you have a very unique offering or a stay with your guest house. What is it that kind of sets it apart with its location on the island?
Um, so I think the food. The food is okay. Yes, this is a little bit strange to say that since I'm the chef, but I'm speaking through the customer's view now. Okay, so people from all over the world and also from Japan, they're coming here to a very very remote place, and they're not expecting to eat things like homemade bread or let's say our Turkish menu. Just yesterday, I had a mother and her son from Saitama, and they said, "Oh, you make Turkish bread?" I say, "Yeah, it's homemade Turkish bread, and here this is çiğ köfte, and this is bulgur." And they were eating, and they said, "Thank you so much." And we have never eat anything like this in our life before. Yeah, because every Turkish place in Japan sells kebab, and that's it. You know.
Yes.
So, so our customers can really come here. It's, depending on what is available, but they can come here and they can have a unique food experience where it's possible that you eat something here you never had before in your life. And that is also part of traveling, of part of the adventure to experience something new. Yeah. Also, our location is fantastic. Yeah. We're just 25 meters from the beach. So, yeah, does not get any better than this if you like swimming and, beach time.
I know I'd love to just be able to sit there and just listen to the waves at night. Um, it's worth the price of admission alone. uh,
Absolutely.
no, and I agree with you. Going off season just to be able to take some different things in. You have a lot to offer outside of those, like would consider the most popular times to do, and if you can do that, you can connect with people more and who you meet. Listen to their stories, like you said. Um, how many rooms are available for lodging?
So we have only 3 rooms and very basic rooms. Like I said, the highlight is food and location. So you will not like spend time in your room any other than sleeping.
Yes.
So the rooms, 2 of the rooms have ocean view, and like you said, you don't uh, you don't need the music to fall asleep. You just listen to the sound of the waves. It's amazing. So the 2 rooms with ocean view have a double bed, twin. It's called twin, right?
Yes.
So so that means 4 beds upstairs, and on downstairs we have another room with 3 beds, but no ocean view. That is mountain view. Seven people altogether can, and that's the max.
Yeah, my daughter and I were already planning. Like I was talking to you beforehand. My son and I, we did our trip, and I'm looking to plan with my daughter now. But we're still a few years to where we can go. Where our dad has to save, and Addison has to save as well for our time. Your location is definitely on our list of places because, um, like I was telling you, we enjoy our hiking. We enjoy our time away from people, more more of a slower pace and things. So we will be definitely getting to meet in person at some point in time, my friend. And I truly look forward to both of our daughters being able to meet each other. So it'll be wonderful.
We're looking forward as well, Mike. Thank you.
Now I know you only have 3 rooms, so cancellations with you have to be different. Just because this is the equivalent of a mom and pop business and very limited things. So cancellations, it's not as if you have 100 rooms that you can offer to people. Could you talk to the audience just about that for a little bit so they have an understanding about that as well?
Yeah. So we need our reservation like 3 days in advance. Also, the reservation for food.
Yes.
Um, if you, if the listeners know the other episode from your podcast, they already understand. Here is a very small supermarket
Yes.
that is only open from 9 to 3 o'clock and not on the weekends. So our shopping has to be done in Takamatsu once a week, and that time I will already know, okay, this week I have 7 dinners and 5 breakfasts, for example. So I do the shopping, and that makes it difficult, if I prepare like 3 dinners and then
Yes.
I get a phone call in the morning and someone said, "Oh, sorry, we're not coming."
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, it's about the logistics. Also, when you travel spontaneous, like I did, you can make a phone call like at lunch and say, "Can I have a room tonight?" Sometimes it's possible. I mean, in a business hotel, that should be no problem. You can show up like anytime, even at night, and they will give you a room. But yeah, a small guest house, very remote. If we have no reservation for that day, my wife and me, we might also have a plan to do something else, you know, going
Not work.
somewhere
Yeah,
else.
yes, yes, yes.
So
Uh,
if you're lucky, this can happen. Of course, we also did that, some emergency reservation like on the same day. But for things like breakfast and dinner, those things need to be organized in advance, well in advance, like 3 days before. So that's why we have to charge cancellation fee if someone does not show up.
Makes a lot of sense, my friend, but definitely something just I will include the link for the episode for the day trip in our notes as well. But just in case we have someone stumbling across this one episode, I wanted to make sure they are aware because, like you said, having to purchase things ahead of time and being where you are, it's not like you can just go down to the local 7-Eleven or Conveni and grab some additional things. Not the case. Not the case at all. What are some of your favorite dishes that you offer? You were talking about your breads, but I couldn't help but notice that the pizza oven was there as well. Could you tell me about some of your favorite dishes?
Okay, so personally, I like um, I like very simple dishes, which is pizza, for example. In Japan, I like ochazuke and the tsukemono, oden in winter. So nothing fancy, but um, honest soul food.
One other thing I'd like to say is that you can rent out your patio, including even the possibility of some tables, chairs, barbecue. That
Yeah.
pizza oven I was talking about. Uh,
Mhm.
what's all included with that?
Well, there is a three plans. I mean, of course, you can combine them if you want to throw a party. So we have a little beach box or beach patio, like you call it.
Okay.
We will put cushions there and the tables, so you can hang out near the beach, um, but in the shade with a roof on top. And you can also order your food and drinks during the cafe is open. Like we will, bring it out. It's basically an extra table. And yeah, next to it there is a um, barbecue site made of bricks. You get the barbecue tongs and the grill roast. Charcoal is included, and the pizza oven is can also be rent for, yeah, basically we're using it for events. If you want to bake a pizza or two, you're not throwing in there a bunch of firewood and preheat it like for 2 hours.
Yes.
So the beach patio is a 10,000 yen per day, including cushions and table. The barbecue site is a 5,000 yen, and the pizza oven is a 3,000 yen per 2 hours, and including firewood. If you just want to make 2, 3 pizza, you can also use our gas oven inside. It's what we use for the cafe because you have the same heat and same result, which is great if you're running a cafe.
I like. Um, I'm going to include your email for anyone that's looking to reach out to you to book lodging for patio, cafe, all those different things. So that will be in
Yeah,
the show notes. But could you just go ahead and share your email real quick?
yeah. The email is megijima.guesthouse@gmail.com. This is where the manager, my wife, receives all the emails, and you can write in Japanese, in English, and in German. And yeah, we'll take care. And you get a reply within 24 hours.
Thank you so much. Now we've talked a bunch about you, a bunch about your business and different things, the cooking and things, but I kind of want to get back to you just a little bit more. Um, what are your favorite books, your podcast, YouTube shows? Just, it could be on Japan or not on Japan, but you said you like to read. So, what are some of those recommendations?
Akutagawa Ryunosuke is a famous Japanese novelist. His short stories are really amazing. I definitely recommend everyone who is into Japanese culture, also in human nature. I can recommend this. Uh, I like One Piece,
Yes, yes.
epic pirate story, anime, um, which is, in my opinion, an important cultural heritage of Japan is the long-running series of Zatoichi, the blind
Fantastic.
Masura.
Yes, yes. I watched
Yeah,
all of that. That is so good.
I have that. I have that DVD box with all the 25 movies. Yeah, that's a must. That is really, really great if you are like the underdog story. Yeah, that's it. That's great. Also, uh, the actor's older brother is the actor for Lone Wolf and Cub, Kozure Okami in Japanese, which is also a 3 or 4 movie series and based on a manga. And I can't forget the wonderful Kaji Meiko. She used to be an actress and singer, or maybe she still is. And yeah, the movie Lady Snowblood, which she plays a main character, and
Yes.
she is singing the main theme. that is so touching. Yeah, that is a life-changing experience. Watching a movie, and after that movie, my life was not the same anymore. Um, I definitely would recommend that.
It's fantastic. Fantastic fun. Hands down, you have my favorite answers so far for this for that question for my interviews. So good, my friend. I could not agree with all of those more. Um, what are your goals for 2024 and beyond?
This year, I want to become better in Japanese, and that should continue for the next years. That is a main aspect, right? To live in Japan makes things much easier. And also, we have a demographic issue in Japan in general, but on the island, you can see it in a microcosmos. Empty houses, houses collapsing, average age is 80 something. Um, I would definitely like to help saving old buildings from collapsing, helping to renovate like we did with our house here, and yeah, push the revitalization of the island and help to make the community like more younger, because if we have places, buildings where people can stay that might attract people to move here, please move here and bring your kids, and maybe the school will open up in a few years. But
Yes.
without kids, the school will just be what it is now, and display for modern art, which is also fine. But yeah, a younger community is necessary to make a great future here.
Love it. Um, is there anything else about your life or anything that you just want to share that we haven't discussed to this point?
Um, if we haven't discussed it, Mr. Nippon, uh, the the very famous YouTuber from Germany, he went to visit us last week. He did a documentary. You can see our house, the cafe, and the island. So you can have a visual if you would like to have that. Of course, the interviews are in German, but just to see what's going on here, I definitely recommend his YouTube channel, Mr. Nippon.
We'll add that into the show notes too, my friend. And depending on when this comes out, we'll give a link. If the show that recording is on his YouTube page as well, we will include that as well, my friend. And
Thank you so
we
much.
for sure. And then we had already said for reaching out to you to either do it through your website or Instagram and Facebook. Could you give your website one more time, my friend?
Our website is www.megijima-megino.com.
Excellent, my friend. And we'll provide all links for people to follow you for Instagram and Facebook too. But Toto, thank you so much for joining us today. I had a blast talking with you. I can't wait for others to hear your story. They missed out on getting to see your daughter, but thank you very much for sharing a bit of your family with me as well before we started to record. But thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me, and you are more than welcome. It was big fun.
We will visit, my friend, and like I said, if it's not me before me and my daughter, I said we will. I'll definitely partake in your bread and a stay. So, so look forward to it. On behalf of Lost Without Japan and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this interview. We look forward to seeing you on board again for our next regularly scheduled episode as we continue our discussion on Japan, travel, culture, and your Lost Without moments. To everyone out there, Oginki Day, stay well, my friends.